Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Kaylee, and I'm the Agent Partnership Manager with Radius Agent Realty. Just real quick for anyone joining, just in these last 10 seconds here, we do want to interact with you guys via chat. So in the bottom right-hand corner, you can chat in any questions that you'll have for the panelists. We'll do a few questions to the audience throughout, but just make sure that you change it to panelists and attendees so that we can all interact. And then if you also have a question, you can use the Q&A function, and we'll be sure to reserve just a few minutes at the end to make sure that we go over all those questions. All right, so before we jump into panelist introductions, I just want to share a little bit of background about Radius. So we've been empowering agents since 2015. What started as a community for agents and kind of that social network, then evolved into our referral marketplace. So with Radius Agent Realty, you can leverage a huge nationwide agent marketplace to send referrals back and forth and just network with fellow colleagues across the US. We also have Radius Assist. So if you are an agent anywhere in the US and you are generating online leads, Radius Assist is absolutely something that you should look into. This is our concierge team who works to qualify your online leads for you, saving you time, setting appointments for you, and allowing you to be out in the field meeting with clients. And then finally, in August of last year, we launched our virtual brokerage, Radius Agent Realty. We are licensed in Colorado and California. So if you are an agent in one of those areas, we'd love to connect with you and share a little bit more about our approach and how we're empowering our agents that way. So speaking about the brokerage, one thing that is very important to us and of course our agents is helping them to build a unique identity. So this slide just shows how we've been able to accomplish that. So here are some examples of agents who are aligned to our brokerage, but you can see here they have their own personal identity that's a standalone from the brokerage. And so it really allows them to have that unique identity with their client base, within their community, and be an entrepreneur and build their business. So that kind of sets up what we're going to be chatting about today. So I will pass it over to Michael, and he'll share with you a little bit about him and get into the good stuff.
Thank you, Kaylee. Yeah. Welcome everyone today to our event about video marketing, capturing their attention and keeping it. My name is Michael Bardales. I'm the Executive Director of Brokerage Expansion here at Radius Agent Realty. A bit about myself. I am a Bay Area native, was born and raised here in the Bay Area since 1979. Also a Navy veteran as well. Did my share as far as owning a brokerage, also a franchisee and a team leader. Currently, I hold a few titles. One is the president of NAREP, which is a Latino real estate organization. I just became the co-chair of our diversity committee for Bridge Association, where we help realtors get more diverse and understand the concept of people of color within real estate. Also, I have a podcast called What's Up Real Estate as well. So just a little bit about myself, a little bit of background, but I want to call in a good friend of mine as well, who's actually going to help us with that here in a second. But to kind of piggyback off what Kaylee said in regards to identity, here at Radius, we definitely have more of a plug and play model for every agent that comes and joins our company. As you see here, this is one theme that we're allowed to have for our agents. So you're not representing Radius when you join us, you're actually representing yourself. And these are a few of the themes that we have in regards to representing your identity here. And the reason we bring this up is because we feel like it's important to understand who you are as a person before we even get into video marketing. So understanding that, figuring out a theme for who you are as a realtor is really going to be impactful for how you become a great at video marketing. So as you see here, we have an energy style theme, we have an accent style theme, and also a natural style theme. Lastly, these are the different color palettes that we are able to use for our agents here. So you don't have to just represent our own purple color. We have all these different colors as well. So again, a little bit about our brokerage, a little bit about our style here. Again, a plug and play to brand agents. So speaking of agents, I want to bring in the millennial agent here in a second, but when we talk about different videos, we all understand that these are the kind of the different categories of videos for agents, right? We have agents videos about ourselves, who we are as a person, so on and so forth. We have videos of client testimonials, right? We all have seen that before too. We see a lot of agents doing local businesses and local neighborhood highlights. And I think those are really cool when you can highlight the local small business cafe, the library, so on and so forth. And what the most popular videos of them all are these property videos. I mean, people have some really cool listings, especially if it's by the beach. They're very cinematic, so on and so forth. So we're going to talk about these videos and show you an example. But right now, I want to bring in Mr. Millennial Agent, William Troutman. Hey, Will.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, good. Why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself and your passion for video? Also, the background of yourself prior to even joining real estate and why you have this passion for video.
Yeah, so I'm actually originally from Ohio, and I came out to the Bay Area with the ambitions of being in real estate. And a lot of the stuff that I had to do was because no one knew who I was. So I was forced into doing video. You know, I didn't have a sphere. I didn't have a lot of people who knew who I was originally when I came here. So video was the best way for me to be able to get my message across, understand who I was, where I came from, and be able to like really connect with my audience. I did come from a couple different brokerages. I started off just kind of like just trying to experience and trying to learn. That was like my main objective, is just like, you know, before I focus on my marketing stuff, I need to be a really good agent. I didn't want to trick people, like come work with me and then you don't get what you thought you were going to get, because my video is excellent. So
yeah, no, I really like the approach that you did. You know, you very have an artistic approach to it. And we see a lot of these videos, and again, not knocking anyone, us realtors, we're not actors. Some of us don't have an artistic background, but you do. And I really like how you did it. So I want to showcase one of William's videos here. And this is, tell us a little bit about your thought process in regards to it. Typically, when you show a property video, which is what we're going to show right now, it's all about the property, but you took a different concept, right? You kind of like highlighted the city a little bit and also just highlighted the relevance of the era, or I should say the time that you were listing the property, correct?
Right. So so basically the reason why I took this particular approach is a lot to do with the algorithm. I'm sure Norman's going to touch on a lot on this, but you have to understand that people want to lead with value. They want information. So if I can teach you, and like just the wide audience that I had in the regards to people who don't know anything about Stockton, they had no idea anything on the houses that are there, or just like all those particular points touching onto them, gave me the opportunity to be the professional and give them that information so that they can trust me as their realtor.
And that's great, because we have agents right now across the nation right now. If they want to come here and they see a beautiful house, that might get their attention, but not might understand where they're moving to, right? So I really like this approach here. So I'm gonna show you guys William's video. And as you guys notice, a lot of these videos are just 90 seconds. So this one here is 1 minute. So let's take a look at William's property video for his listing here in Stockton.
Okay, so hear me out. 2020 was the craziest year by far. Between murder hornets and COVID-19, we don't really know what to expect. Between all that noise is opportunity. My name is William Troutman. I'm a local realtor, and I wanted to talk to you about the mass exodus. There's thousands of people moving from the Bay Area to Stockton, California, which is why I want to bring up my newest listing, 237 East Hampton Street. It's not too far from downtown. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, approximately 1,700 square feet. It has laminate floors, tiles in the bathroom, and stainless steel appliances.
Good old technology.
Yeah.
There we go.
But at the same time, the concept of that video was to do two things, right, Will? And I think you mastered that one, was to talk about not only the property, but also talk about the city as well. But then also you brought up killer hornets.
Yeah.
Is that so? The reason you brought up what the relevancy of today's things that are happening, you said because of algorithms?
Yeah, so you got to think like right now when you're reaching out to the audience, you can do ads. It doesn't really matter, but the highest quality ads or the highest quality people to reach are the ones who are leading with intent. And those are people who are going directly into the search engine and they're like, hey, how do I find a house? How do I buy a house? What are some steps of being able to find the best house in the Bay Area? So it's kind of like getting in front of those particular people in the audience and then delivering that information for them.
Right, exactly. So that's exactly what you did here. But then also too, not only the video in regards to what you did, but where you put it, right? So this one you put on YouTube, right? But here, this video that we're going to showcase right now, you chose to put it on IG, and we'll talk a little bit about that after I showcase the video. But why don't you guys listen real quick, and I'll pop this in.
Trying to beat the odds. My name Maury. I'm a typical young black male from Oakland. Trying to beat the odds and beat the generational curses that was upon us. Me growing up how I grew up, not really having nothing, not having a dad, just grew up with a single mom. It just made me want to always press and do better for my child. So once I had a child myself, I always told myself like I wanted to do better and I wanted to, have something for him to have when he gets older. So me being a first time home buyer, like this means everything to me. This means me breaking curses that I always wanted to break and me giving my son and my fiance a better life. Zillow sent me an angel, man. My boy Will sent me Will. At first, I was thinking like, man, this not gonna happen. He got to talking to me and he was like, it can happen. Honestly, I still kind of feel like it's not real. Like sometimes I still wake up in the house like this is mine, like, because the process, he made the process so easy. It was like way different than what I ever expected. Like I expected it to be a whole lot more me having to do work, but basically he did the work. I just signed some papers and he made it happen. So like William really made the process easy to buy a house where I thought it was going to be difficult, and it really wasn't that difficult.
Again, another choppy video, and I apologize. But Will, tell us a little bit about that in regards to your client and how he was able to do it. Was he scared?
Man, he didn't even. I had to talk him into getting the house. He was like, almost like, this is a waste of time. I'm like, no, like I just got you pre-approved.
No, and that's great because and that's the thing about it, right? Like us as realtors, we tend to talk about ourselves all the time, right? That's just like, I did this, I did that. And it's so awesome when you can get a client here, especially someone like that who never thought he can own a home. And I apologize that the videos were choppy, but I'll put the links in the chat room. I won't show his last video because his last video is super fire. And I think by doing it will be injustice or whatnot. But no, Will, tell a little bit more about your cinematic approach in regards to your traditional video approach that you see out there with more traditional videos.
Yeah, I just didn't want to be like everyone else. And it's just like, I feel the most important part of this is to stand out, and I just didn't want to make the, hey, my name is William Troutman, I'm a local realtor, because that's what I've seen everywhere. So I was like, I want to actually touch some emotion. I want people to feel something. I want to be able to motivate people, and that was like a big part, I feel like, of myself and my brand as a realtor, because that's what I do. That's what I want to do. I think you muted yourself, Mike.
Yeah, no, thank you for that, Will. Well, now that we talked a little bit about that, again, this is a flow, everyone. So in the beginning, let's think about that. We need to figure out our identity. Who are we? Instead of William Troutman, he took on the Millennials agent. That caught people's attention, right? So now that we built our identity, and now that the filming is done, and now that the editing's done, now what? Now it's all about putting that out there. So I'm going to bring in Mr. Norman. Norman, you there?
I'm here. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for having me. I'm much appreciated.
Awesome. So Norman, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and who you are, so on and so forth. And now that we kind of figured our identity, now that we figured out our brand, now that we have our video, what do we do, Norman?
Got to disseminate it out there, man. Got to disseminate it. Got to get out there for as many people to see it. And kind of give you a little background about me. So I'm also native of the Bay Area. I was a part of that mass exodus. I actually was out of Hayward, California, off of D Street. I was living there with my fiance and now wife and my daughter. And we decided to take advantage of that equity. And now we're here in Scottsdale, outside of Scottsdale, Arizona, in Gilbert. Founded LiftOff Agent about 8 years ago. I've worked with well over 3,000 agents. I love to speak and give back and put things in perspective and motivate. So I hope I could do just that here. I also have a podcast called Real Estate vs. Tech, and we interview individuals, internationally and nationally, top performers, real estate coach, and also technology providers, and ask them, like, how are you serving the industry? And for agents, why you got in the business and what technology you're using to really grow your business. And last but not least, we have a team of 9 full-time. 130 agents. We're in 10 different states, and it all started from, I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Antioch, and graduated from Foothill High School in 2005. And no one in my family has a marketing degree or business degree or any degrees. No one even went to college. I didn't even go to college, and a lot of blue collar workers. And I saw an opportunity to serve this amazing community, and that was 8 years ago. And now I'm here. And if I could do this, anyone could do this. So I really appreciate this opportunity.
Well, thank you for showing up here, Norman. And tell us a little bit about LiftOff Agent. Thank you for giving the background about yourself, but tell us a little bit about your mission statement. We see your beautiful team here as well, and your wife and your daughter. Yeah,
man, thanks so much. I appreciate it. We have one more person to add on there as well. But our whole thing is we, and I feel like no matter if you're a business owner, real estate professional, which a real estate professional is a business owner by default, actually, is everyone should have a mission statement. Your why. Why are you in business? What are you wanting to do? Leave a legacy. You want to support your family. You want to be able to give back to charity. What is it that you want to do? And what's your mission statement? For us at LiftOff is we really just want to supersede the real estate marketing standard by innovating, positioning, and inspiring our family of clients. And the way that we do that is we build a foundation for a consistent roadmap for growth. So they have a clear understanding of what they're doing, why they're doing it, how are they doing it. And then that way they can basically take their marketing to new levels. So that's what we really like to do. So my wife and my daughter's there from a couple years ago, and then the rest of the team. And my co-founder Smith's there. Dan's our VP. Janae's part of our sales. And then you have Yvetta, Louie, Cha, and Jared. And then we had Bernadette, who just started 2 weeks ago. So very grateful to have an amazing team to serve everyone that works with us here at LiftOff.
Awesome, man. So now it's time to learn. Now it's time to take notes, right? And it's time to take some action. Let's get into it now. Let's start with the who. So right now we did all that stuff, right? We talked about our identity. We talked about this, but let's talk a little bit about the who, right? Who is our focus? The buyer, the seller, or both? So break that down a little bit for us, Norman.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that a big thing is to get focused on who you want to target. And making your videos very, very relevant to what's happening. William talked about the Hornets, talked about the mass exodus, just being relatable to whatever it is that or whoever it is that you're trying to reach out to, and being intentional, right? So first-time home buyer could be someone that you want to work with, or a move-up buyer. So that's a seller and a buyer. Sellers right now that are really good to focus on, especially if you're in California, is going to be empty nesters. I mean, it's not maybe the prettiest demographic to work with. Maybe you want to work with someone your same age or what have you, but Prop 19 is huge to defer taxes. You have retirement communities for 55 plus. You have someone that's had the home for over 30 years, has equity, that might even want to travel the world. So really getting focused on who do you want to focus on, buyer or seller? And a lot of agents say both. And when you ask them who you work with and where you work, they say everywhere. And you really want to think about your business as a bigger business, to scale your business, to get more focused. Because for me personally, I would want to walk up my front door and say, I've sold like those 5 houses down the street there, those 3 houses down the street there, know my neighborhoods, and really be a community expert and an authority. So just like someone like, you guys probably all know who he is Fast Agent, Kenny Fast in Oakland. He has park benches everywhere. He's an authority, started in Oakland, and then he moved out from there. So those are some things to think about when it comes to the who.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask you the same question, Will. When you think about like your audience or whatnot, like what is your who? You're millennials agent, so obviously that's the who, it seems like, correct?
Yeah, so I actually built my marketing strategy around millennials, just for the simple fact that like I feel like I can relate to them. Like, one thing that I know about our age demographic, we like to get information. We're gonna go look you up, and we need proof of concept. We're not gonna just trust you up front. So I build a lot of my marketing strategies around those particular concepts.
Yeah, and if you think about it, man, take the Netflix concept. When you go on there, there's different like realms, right? Action, drama, comedy, so on and so forth. So if they make movies specific for their audience, how much more do we need to do it, right? Because I've seen it sometimes, and I struggle with it. When I was first in there, I was like, oh, I sell houses. It's like, okay, you're just saying you're a realtor. It's obvious you're licensed. That you just wasted a whole video describing yourself as a realtor. That's awesome. But they also want to know who you are too. Just as so much as you need to know who they are, they also need to know who you are as well. So I like that you guys share that as well. Now, Norman, now why, right? Now that we know who, why are we doing this in the first place to these people?
Yeah, no, definitely. And just a really quick note, Google search yourself. William said it himself. Millennials look you up. So if you're working with millennials, just make sure you Google yourself today and see what pops up. The why, I love this slide because it's something to really think about when you think about like, who are you working with? And then why are you working with them? Or why are they looking to buy or sell? If you look on the left, that's going to be someone who is an empty nester, someone who's looking to downsize. They don't need the extra space anymore. So what type of content, video content, could you put out there to really connect with that potential individual who wants to sell? That's someone that has a house, doesn't need the space anymore, talk to their pain points. And then if you run ads, have ads that are going to then be able to showcase their pain points or showcase something they're dealing with. Like, hey, I want to sell my house. It's large. I don't need any more. Or on the right-hand side, 5 dumbest things that landlords are doing. So, William could potentially, who knows, maybe your next video out there, William, could be something like a cool video, and you could do a skit around first-time home buyers and all the people out there that don't know they're first-time home buyers, but are renting, and be like, hey, can you relate to these 5 dumb things that your landlords do today that maybe is going to be a key indication for you to want to sell, go ahead and get into buying a house? And also, who knows, maybe you could buy a house and save on the monthly that you're spending on the rent. So really understanding why that person's looking to buy or sell. So when you do film, get more focused on that approach.
Yeah, I think that's super important too, because there's subcategories in regards to each of the things we're talking about, right? So empty nesters, there's subcategories to empty nesters, there's subcategories to millennial people, so on and so forth. And well, that's why you've probably taken that approach. Is like, why am I doing it to these millennials, right? So like, why did you feel that, reaching out to millennials will probably gonna be easier than empty nesters?
Because I know how they think. Well, actually, it's funny how I got the name is because I remember when we were going to the office and I was on Michael's team, and I can't remember, I'm always like joking around and stuff, and Michael's like, oh my God, you're such a millennial. You're such a millennial. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna run with that.
So you heard it here, guys. Credit to Michael for his name. No, but I think that's super important. Like, why are we, like, for me, like, if we're going after the Latino market, like, why? It's because I want to promote homeownership within the people of color. Why do I stand on this platform? It's super important. Even in our business, right? The why is the reason why we wake up every morning. So again, we talked about the who are we going to market to? We're going to market to millennials. We're going to market to empty nesters. The next question we need to ask is, why are we doing it? Well, we're doing it because I'm relatable to them. I'm doing that because this is my community. I relate more to these individuals. And that's the beauty about real estate, is that bring out who you are, right? You hear it a lot, like your true authentic self. Shout out to the Soul Realtor for saying that. But yeah, that's really why you want to do these things, right? But now that we know that, it's all about, oops, here we go.
Getting excited over here.
Getting too excited here.
Getting sneak peek all the slides.
There you go. Now we go how, right? So now that we understand who, now that we understand why, how do we do this, Norman? So give us some ideas on how this can be accomplished.
Yeah, no, definitely, for sure. So you can see social media channels there on the left. Twitter, not as much, but definitely, Facebook, think about demographic. We'll talk about stats here in a second. Anyone who's 55 plus, average user on Facebook, empty nester. You're talking about millennial, average users 34 younger, is going to be Instagram. So disseminating that content and putting together video that's going to build the know, like, and trust. And people will forget what you said and did, but people will never forget the way that you made them feel. So emotionally, how do you connect with them? What William's doing a really good job of, to be able to make them feel something, to make it so it's relatable. So then that way, when it goes out there organically, you can get additional exposure. Because right now, Google is actually technically favoring organic content that adds value. So a great book is The 7 Triggers to Yes. It talks about if you do something for someone else and you don't have any underlining, hey, I'm expecting something back, then 9 times out of 10, they're going to be like, hey, you know what? I really appreciate what you did. Let me do something for you in return. So making sure you film video, get it on your social media. If you put it on YouTube, YouTube is owned by Google, so that can help you as well. And then from there, you can be able to make sure that goes on to your website. And and you can have it auto feed from YouTube to your website. And then when you run ads, running those ads that are going to be targeted, focused, and relatable, like William said, so then you can have more success overall with that approach.
Yeah, that's awesome. But also too, that, I mean, that's like the great part of it is like how we're going to do it. But also too, William, talk a little bit about that, how to even do a video. Talk a little bit about the storyboards that are involved with that, the planning. I remember the video guy that you worked with. I mean, what went behind like doing the video? It wasn't like, hey, just point here, right? There was a lot of how behind that on top of what Norman is saying as well.
I actually, like, for that last video, I took all night writing that script. Like, I really thought, like, I had a really strong approach of how I wanted to accomplish my vision, you know? So it wasn't like I just, like, no, I really took some time to put some effort behind it, you know? But I kept meeting with the with the videographer and stuff, and he was just like, this script is amazing. And I don't know, we just like connected really well. It was fun. We was like spending a whole day, you know, just shooting, coming up with ideas, and then this ended up being like a great video.
And how important you think it is, the videographer in this whole concept of that?
Yeah, I think, like, you know, what's the purpose of using a videographer if you're not going to have someone that has a strong sense of visuals and can edit really well? Because like all that stuff, you know, you can shoot it on your phone, but you know, some stuff works differently. So like, you know, if you're doing a video that is giving information, but you want to relate to them in a different way, from your phone is fine. Like that actually turns out where you can do ads off of phone videos, you know, because it's more personable. It's more like, you know, but then like when you want to come down to like branding and stuff, like me personally, I like to go all out because it kind of like sets a standard, you know? So it's like, you know, I go all out for this, then you know that when I'm about to sell your house, that this is what your stuff is going to look like too, you know?
Right. And then Norman, let me ask you this. So say you got a client and they're like, Norman, I'm going to come here. And then you see the video. Do you give them feedback sometimes and say, hey, like, I think you need to go back to the drawing board with this? Tell us a little bit about that part.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I have a client of ours and he's a great agent and his brand's on point, website's fire, looks amazing. And we at LiftOff, after we get you focused, #1 marketing positioning agency, who's your ideal buyer, seller, and area that you serve, so we can start to like put out this type of content. We said, hey, here's a video you need to film. And he started to do that. And for anyone out there that's listening and wants to get into video and wants to keep it simple, check out loom.com. It's like the new BombBomb. So it's free. So I said, go on Loom, record yourself, check it out, this, that, and another thing, and get these videos to us. So he started doing that. And literally he was like, just got out of the gym in a Nike shirt, this, that, and another thing. He sends over the videos and just like, bro, you just got off the Peloton, man. Like, I mean, it's all good. Just like throw some water in your hair and throw like an overcoat or something, like a button up or something on, because the brand was off. It just didn't, you know, I get it. Like you want to use your phone or you want to use loom.com and you want to keep it super simple, but if you don't have a backdrop, hey, just upload a backdrop into Zoom and at least, you know, put a hat on if you're having a bad hair day, or, you know, throw a little coat on and throw some water in your hair. And just be mindful of, like, if you have a great brand, a great website, a great position, great social presence, everything looks polished, then try to keep that standard up there. And don't obviously overcomplicate. You don't need to like go get a fresh new suit and do all kind of crazy stuff. Just be mindful of like, this is what your brand looks like. Let's just try to stick as consistent as we can with it.
Yeah. And then, you know, a little step that I would take, and let's talk a little bit about your background. Your background's fire, man. I mean, the way you go about it, it's a little bit of effort, you know, and as you see me, this is my mic and this is my background. But the reason I got this wasn't mainly for Zoom events. It was for buyer consultations, because when they came and they saw me, they're like, oh my gosh, this guy has a mic. And the reason I have a mic, because I want them to be clear to hear me when I'm doing my buyer consultation, right? That's the reason I'm doing all this. And also to see kind of like where I'm living and things like that. So not only in regards to what you're saying, but how we even go about our presentations on our Zoom calls should be important as well, you know? So I really appreciate that you said that too. So let's talk about this now. Now we know that we know the who, we know the why, we know the how. Let's get into that, right? So why is the client looking to buy or sell in all these different categories? So Norman, tell us a little bit about this slide.
Yeah, definitely. So I call this like the cheat sheet, right? So if you look at 1 through 4, even maybe 1 through 5, that's going to be a life cycle of someone that's going to buy a home. They're going to upgrade their home. They might want to move to another city. They might have a lot of confidence and say, hey, like, you know, I could sell my home on my own, for sale by owner. And then who knows, God forbid, knock on wood, nothing happens, but things happen, right? You get a divorce, distressed property, distressed seller, they need to sell their home. So that's kind of a life cycle. But if you really were like, hey, I'm a millennial agent, I want to work with first-time home buyers, then fantastic. Like, how could you deep dive into the micro side of that to really get to the next level? And if I was someone like, say, for instance, a William, I mean, I would go after like all the tech companies. You have LinkedIn in San Francisco, you have Facebook over in, Millenial Park. Like, how could you get on the roster as a preferred actual realtor to get actual referrals coming in as a millennial agent? And when these individuals are looking you up online, it's going to showcase like super simple, and it's going to be exactly what it is. Another thing to think about too, if like you have this list and you get more focused, like a couple notes to take is SOP, standard operating procedure, KPI, key performance indicator, and doubling down on income producing activities. A lot of real estate professionals don't think about their business like a big business. When you're working with a first-time home buyer and you repeat yourself over and over and over and over again, why not put together a standard operating procedure where you meet them for 10 to 15 minutes, you direct them to your website, you plant a Facebook pixel to retarget them so they can see your ads to keep you top of mind, and then have a standard operating procedure. You need to get pre-approved, you need to set up property alerts, and you just have it boom, 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 and have some videos. So that way, when you're sleeping at night or you're on vacation or whatever, you can be more focused and they can see that you've really dialed in your business instead of needing to talk to them, call them, text them, and think about how could you use video and how could you use this approach to get more focused, to have a standard operating procedure to look at your business as a bigger business, to scale up. And then when you bring in a buyer specialist or a seller specialist or a team, here's our standard operating procedure on a silver platter. We follow this step-by-step process, and I've already seen success. Here's the data and everything that supports it. So that's something that I would really press upon all of the individuals here at the event.
I think this is phenomenal, man. I'm just like, when you're talking, I'm reading at this and think about this, like, okay, we want to get to first-time home buyers, but how? We're going to get through them through millennials, through renters, through couples, right? So then you take that strategy, like, what is my video to millennials? What are my videos to renters? What are my videos to couples, right? I remember Mark Zuckerberg was on the Senate hearing when they were talking about Facebook and all this. And a senator said to him, he goes, why is it when I go everywhere, I see chocolate when I clicked on a chocolate link? And then Mark Zuckerberg said, people don't like advertising, and they don't like advertising that doesn't pertain to them. So in regards to that, like, yeah, if you're sitting there saying, hey, you're a first-time home buyer, like, no, I'm a renter, and show me how to buy a house. I'm a millennial that just left my mom's house. Because if you think of millennials, they seen their parents suffer during the crash, right? The baby boomers, for example, right? So Will, look at this chart here. How do you feel? Do you relate to this in regards to how you go about it as well?
I see like thousands and thousands of topics for videos.
Right? I'm like, dang, dude. Look at distressed home sellers, divorce, hardship, death. I mean, like, yeah, leasing agents, vacation, rental, executive housing. Yeah, this is like a true cheat sheet, Norman.
Yeah, no, for sure. And one thing to take in consideration, think about reverse engineering it, right? When you think about someone who's renting in an apartment complex and you think about your business as a realtor, as a big business, think about going after some of those, say, for instance, you can start small for an apartment complex, find out who the owners of the apartment complex is, see if you can build a relationship with them. They have the data points for every single person who's renting, and come up with a program to say, hey, like, we're not just going to rent you an actual place. We're going to help you actually own a home. So you're going to sign a 2-year lease with us. Williams, our millennial agent, who actually is part of the process. You want to take advantage of this actual program that we have. So at the end of your 2-year lease, you potentially can go into buying a home, right? Imagine having something like that. So instead of paying Zillow or paying for leads, you're literally building a relationship with a local apartment complex to put emphasis on just going behind the scenes to build that rapport, to build that relationship, and let it work for you. Here's the standard operating procedure. Here's the program. You just present that to 5 or 6 different apartment complexes, start small, then work your way up. And if you can get to corporate and get to, like, who knows how many apartment complexes, I mean, you could build a business just off of first-time homebuyers and people that are renting.
Yeah, we're gonna have this slide available for everyone. So for sure, I think this is great information, and so I really like this as well. But now that we talked about that, okay, so all you guys, again, let's talk a little bit and just recap this evolution, right? So one, identity. Who are you, right? And once you know who you are, what company is helping you? Radius plug. That will help you with that, right? Now that we know that, we figured out our why, we figured out our who, and the video's already done. We're all edited. Where do we go from here? right? Because everyone's like, I'll just put it out there and see ya, let it go. But it doesn't work that way. And right, Will, I mean, like you just don't, like I said, like I went to your YouTube, I saw a certain video on your YouTube that I didn't see on your IG and on your LinkedIn and so on and so forth, because these are different identities, right? So before Norman gets into it, right, is that your approach as well when it comes to these platforms?
Oh yeah, definitely. Me and Norman kind of talked about a little bit like how far in the rabbit hole so we really go about this, but multi-channel marketing is definitely where it's at, because you know each one of these platforms is going to give you a different benefit in a different audience. You know, so like what I usually do is like for example, just to kind of break down like what I do when I do a video, I'll shoot a video, I'll upload it to YouTube. But then I have also that same video in 30, 60, and a minute and 20, right? Because on Instagram, you can't, there's 3 ways that you can post it. You can post it on your stories, you can post it on your feed, and then you have live. So not your live, but your live TV. So you can put
Reels.
an entire video, no matter how long it is, on your live. But then you can also post it and then show a snippet of it, you know, and still have that same scenario for Facebook, you know, the same for LinkedIn. It just really depends on like what I'm trying to accomplish. But I do definitely chop those videos up and change them based off of the platform that I'm going to post it on.
And that's so smart. I mean, like definitely you guys, you can take a 90-second video and make 7 videos out of it for sure.
Yeah,
you know, literally. And then with those 7 different videos, those all go in different things. So for example, what he said in regards to stories, you can put a story's only like 20 seconds. So you can snip it and it'll just be your one story. But let's talk a little bit more into it. Norman, so this slide here you created, and we have the 4 major social media platforms. Let's talk a little bit about that, and then we'll take them individually.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that it's super important. I was actually looking to give you guys an actual channel to check out for YouTube, but Will hit the nail on the head. I mean, you know, the day and the age of getting on social media and keeping it consistent, which you see here is like, that's like the basic of the basic, right? Now it's at another level where it's just like, okay, you have it consistent. Here's your different 4 platforms you should be on, but how do you get the content out there? How do you disseminate the content? And Will did a great job. It's okay, YouTube, now YouTube's owned by Google. So if you want to potentially get organic search, and especially if it's aerial content, YouTube is where to go. I'll find the channel, put it in the chat. We have guys that are up here in Oregon on YouTube. It's called, I think, Living in Portland, Oregon, all about Portland, Oregon. And they've done $11 million in top line gross revenue in 2020 just because of their YouTube channel. Wow. And then from YouTube, Instagram's super popular, but Instagram doesn't give you a link out. So if you're not at 10,000 followers and you can't put it on the story for the swipe up, that's when you get the swipe up unlocked. Then you have to then go ahead and put the link on your profile, but then you only get one link. So then you have to use Linktree to have multiple links, and you don't want to make it too complicated, right? So you're like, all right, so post the main video on YouTube because you want to get subscribers. If you monetize your YouTube channel, I got a guy up in, he's up in Canada, went from, I think like 10 to 50,000 a month off of just monetizing his YouTube channel. Then get that content to Instagram, and then just give them a little bit, right? Give them a teaser and then call to action, go over to the YouTube channel, right? And then you got to be quick about asking them to like, follow, and subscribe. And I see this all of the time. And if you're working with any video companies out there, at the beginning of your videos, I had a guy, his name is Daniel R. Hunt Jr. in Texas. And he was basically on Real Estate vs. Tech. He's now up to, I think, $1,000 a month, and he goes and does listing videos. And I think his top viewed video has like 100,000 views or what have you. But at the beginning, he's like, follow, and subscribe, because you only get the first 3 seconds, because people are just like 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds, and they're just going through your content quick. So if you don't catch them quick, then sorry, like you're going to lose them. And then you want to make sure you have a call to action really quick to get them to subscribe to your YouTube channel, to have that happen, to have more success with that. And the last thing I'll leave with is that Facebook, Instagram, a lot of these platforms natively want you to post in their actual platform because they want to hold viewership as long as they possibly can. So sometimes just posting a link and having them link out to YouTube doesn't really work in your favor as much as you want to. So that's kind of a hurdle you have to overcome. But that's my thoughts on that slide.
Yeah. So you hear what he said, everyone. Follow me so I can do the swipe up. That's what all I want is a swipe up.
Yeah. I need 10,000 followers.
I need 10,000 followers for that. So a little far away from that, but let's get into it a little bit now. Okay. And we'll end with sort of these slides here, but let's talk about the difference of each of these. So we did talk a little bit about Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, but let's go into the stats here. Norman, please.
Yeah, definitely. So I think a big thing is to think about like when you're posting on these platforms, really think about like, you know, Instagram, for instance, 1 billion active users and 71% 35 and younger. So there's your move up buyers. That's going to be millennials. And then Instagram, they say it's the second most used platform outside of Facebook, but I really think it's getting to like number one now. But crazy stat, in 2013, 5 million videos were uploaded in the first 24 hours in 2013. So now it's like, dude, you know, you got to get on video. If you want to really be able to get organic reach on your video, get onto Instagram. One of our clients in Morgan Hill, she hit 651,000 views on one of her Instagram reels. So Instagram reels, a new TikTok. Stay consistent, get on it, and don't get dialysis by paralysis and be like, oh my God, I got to get on TikTok now, or I got to get on all these other platforms. And now you have the new platform for like the podcast on, I can't even think of the name right now.
Clubhouse,
right? Everyone's on that. So just like focus. And Instagram, in my opinion, is probably the number one platform I would use because it has everything all in one that you pretty much would need.
I'll challenge that.
Okay.
The only one that is giving it a run for its money, I feel like, is TikTok because of the organic reach.
Yeah.
But you know what's like a really nice strategy is if you go, like some people are using TikTok, I feel like wrong for like just dancing and stuff like that. But there's actually a lot of people making TikToks that's giving some informative stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what you were talking about earlier was the Reels, which is doing really well on Instagram too. So like to be able to shoot something on TikTok, which links directly to your Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So now you got both organic reach from TikTok and you're getting organic reach from Instagram too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that you said that because it is for 35 and, you know, younger and I would say younger, I'm going to stop that age from, it would probably be like 22 to 35 because my kids, I say IG, they're like, stop dad. Don't say that, dad, you know, like on top of my other dad jokes that I do, I say IG to sound cool, but like them, they're not, and my daughter's about to be 18, you know, so that era definitely is not IG at all. You know, they're definitely younger than them. So for me to follow the trend, I just see what my kids are doing, but yeah, they're definitely in the TikToks. Yeah. What about YouTube?
Yeah, definitely. YouTube's awesome. I mean, 90% of consumers, you know, shop basically would say in 2020, 90% of consumers will buy a home because of video. We actually, my wife and I bought our house sight unseen. And I mean, come on, who's YouTube something, how to fix a toilet, how to fix whatever. So imagine doing YouTube videos for like the top 5 things to do in your specific city that you serve. So you can be an expert, which is an authority. 1.3 billion active users, and the age demographic is 18 to 45 years of age that's on YouTube. So, you know, depending on your goals, if you want to monetize your YouTube channel and you really want to push that, then that's definitely something that you potentially could do as a very wide range of audience, which is great. You could push that content to your YouTube channel, to your website, and also take advantage of search as well. And then potentially you could use TikTok, like William was saying. And if you blow up a TikTok, then you could just drive all that traffic to your YouTube channel to get fastly monetized. And to monetize YouTube, you need 1,000 subs and 4,000 hours of watch time to be able to start getting paid.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's important too. Like I got a couple of buyers, like when I first did a video on how to buy a home in the Bay Area. And one of them ended up being like a $900,000 buyer. And it just like called me randomly. And was like, hey, saw your YouTube video. And it's different because the vibe is not like, I'm not trying to convince them to work with me. Like she's asking me, do you have time for me? Like, can you, like, it's a whole different approach. And the reason why I was saying that though is just because I noticed like some people, like when they make their videos and stuff, you don't take advantage of the description. You know, so like your description should have your website. It should have links to your other videos. It should have, you know, a lot of things wherever you're trying to drive that particular traffic to, you know, so that you can turn it not only from just a video, but into like a lead, you know.
Right. No, that's super powerful. You said that because I sold a few homes last year to a few clients sight unseen, and I uploaded to I was using YouTube back in the days when I used to do like video walkthroughs and then posted it to my YouTube channel for clients to watch. So super powerful. I think this is, everyone uses YouTube for one capacity or another, especially when I want to watch my old 90s R&B videos. I just hop right on YouTube and just Google Jodeci and it pops up. But let's talk about Facebook. This is probably a lot different now than what it used to be. If my kids don't do Instagram, they for sure don't even consider Facebook. So let's talk about Facebook a little bit.
Yeah, Facebook, man. Facebook has definitely changed a lot. 1.49 billion active users. I think the users probably going down. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. 75% technically are actually females that use Facebook, and 62% are 55 to 65 plus or older. So you're starting to see that now, where the older demographic are basically going on just to kind of keep up with what's happening with our kids, what's going on with our family, and things like that. Like my aunt, she came over this last weekend, and then she saw that I posted a picture with my daughter, and she commented, of course, on Facebook. I don't think she's on Instagram. And they said that if you can hold someone's attention for over 10 seconds, if you get to like closer to 15 seconds, because people are just scrolling, 3 seconds is all you got. But if you can get them to go past 15 seconds watching your videos, you're definitely above average. And Facebook is just going to be a great platform, in my opinion, to run your ads, connect it with your Instagram, and then boost your posts. And then if you want to really get targeted with the older demographic, or even area specific content, then that's definitely going to be a platform you might want to take advantage of.
What's your thoughts, Will, Mr. Millennial Agent, when it comes to Facebook?
It's a different audience. It just really depends on like what you're trying to accomplish. Like really, this comes down to looking at your data and your areas and understand like who your audience is, and how you can pitch them yourself like in a direct way of being able to utilize that as a lead, or utilize that, like it's a great lead platform for me. Recently, I won't get too in detail about it, but like I do like a lot of retargeting strategies off of Facebook, but you run your ads and stuff from Facebook to Instagram, on Instagram too. But they're changing a lot of things, and it's changing like the approach of everything with the new iOS change. Like I'm not gonna get into it, but basically, you got to be able to maneuver through these particular platforms and go with the times. You gotta adapt.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, no, Facebook was definitely a good thing when it first came out. I mean, I still use Facebook avidly for my business, more personally for my business than I do anything else. But I definitely see it different. But I do like the fact that you can create a shadow audience sometimes when you're retargeting. So when you guys think of retargeting, think of Facebook. It's going to be very huge for that, because it does have a lot of information in regards to that. So again, let's recap this real quick. So again, we found out our identity, right? We found out the who, the why, whatever. We now have our video. We now figured out what channel we did. Now we got to go back and analyze it, right? Because I look at it, it's kind of almost like a artist, right? Like you're the artist creates an album through their label. The label then has to put it out, and then you got to see if that actually works, right? Because now that's all tracks. So we got to do what you said earlier, our KPIs. We got to do this. So tell us a little bit about what this is, and understanding our analytics to our video too, to make sure it's reaching the right people.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So what you're looking at is going to be a little bit more specific in basically how we at LiftOff have our analytics and how it works. But it's simple. Even on an individual basis, you could just get Google Analytics to track who's going to your website. So understanding like how many people are going to your site, what pages are they going to your site, are they finding value on your site, and then are you bringing any leads from your site? A lot of agents out there have a broker provided website, which is great. Couple things to take in consideration is like, okay, who's going to my website? Do I have a Facebook pixel on my site for potential retargeting activities? What pages are they there? How long are they there for? And what could I do on the site side with analytics to take it to the next level? Maybe have a video and welcome someone to your website. Have a video for the buy side, sell side. Talk about your standard operating procedures. So then you can not only find out what pages they're going to and how many visitors that you have, but also did they enter any information, or did they watch the videos provided on those different pages? That's on the website side. For the social side, you really want to understand too, like your audience. How is your audience doing? Is it growing? Is it not growing? There's apps outside of the platforms like Facebook and Instagram, and say, for instance, TikTok, that you can go in, and a lot of times you have to have a business account to get the analytics. We actually have an account which kind of ties in all the data. So here you can see Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, almost 1,600 people in the audience, 127 post engagements, how many posts were sent out. So really just understanding your audience, how's it growing, what type of engagements are you getting? Because you never know, the people that are supporting or engaging the most, like one of the hacks is when you're consistent with your stories, you can swipe up on your story and see who's watching your story and see who's the most consistent. And before you know it, then it can turn around and actually, turn into your benefit. I actually had true story. I did something, and I'm not even a real estate professional, and I've had multiple accounts. I'm like, yeah, Norm, I would use you as my realtor. I'm like, I'm not licensed, but okay, great. Like, I support the industry and realtors. But yeah, it's interesting how that can come together full circle. So know your numbers, know your analytics, and it's something that becomes a habit for me. Every morning, I just check it, see what's going on, and make sure that the numbers are growing, and see if I need to get back to anyone.
And that's the same thing. I think you take the same approach, Will. Like, not only do I have to do that identity, brand, video editing, storyboard, now that the video's out, I got to see if it's working, right? So long as, like, that's why if you think about these TV shows that come up with like the pilot, right? The pilot's to show, like, is this going to work? Then we keep going in that direction, right? So that's the reason of a pilot when it comes to a show. How much more for us, right?
Right. And it's like, so Norman kind of talked about it earlier too, like with KPIs and stuff like that. So like each one of these videos, I look at it as a campaign, right? So it's just, then you got to understand, like, now we're moving more into data. The more data, like, that's why they want Norman as the realtor, is because he understands data. He understands how to attract a particular audience. So like what I would do is I'll go into MLS, and then I'll look at, say I have a listing presentation, and I'll look at the particular area and see what the demographic of those people in that area. For example, I had a property in Pittsburgh. It was right by the marina. So I knew that it was retirement people. I knew that it was people who love boats, usually drove trucks and stuff like that. I put those particular KPIs in my campaigns, because now I know I'm doing ads and stuff. I'm attracting people who are most likely to live in that particular area. And then I show my sellers, and then they give me 6%.
We forgot to show you guys the video of Will on his jet skis while he was selling the property at the marina. But let's talk a little bit about this. It's our last two slides here. But like you said, not only do we need to know, there's a way to know, right? And that's through exposure grade. Can you tell us a little bit about what exposure grade is real quick?
Yeah, definitely. So anyone out there that want to actually give a grade to where they're currently at, we grade individuals based off their exposure, which is an awesome opportunity just to do some kind of self-reflection. So where's your brand? Where's your social media? Where's your website? If you're doing farming and mailing, fantastic. If you're networking, yeah, it's changed, but obviously we're still networking. If you're doing any like Zoom type exercises like today, this is great. There's 40 people, there's a chat. I mean, there's networking opportunities here. So really understanding where you're at. There's no right, there's no wrong. It goes from a trainee all the way up to a guru, but maybe really just do some self-reflection and ask yourself, what do you need to do? Where do you need to improve? And the one thing that hits home for me with what William's doing is that, he might be new to the business, but his confidence is there, and in perception, right? Perception's at the forefront of your success. He has people reaching out to him saying, do you have time for me? Because the perception of the quality of the actual video he's producing is on point, which then gives him an authority as figure, which makes him an expert, right? And they don't question that just because automatically, his branding and what he's doing speaks for itself. So if you guys want to get a grade, go ahead and have fun with this, and you'll get emailed your actual grade. You're more than welcome to take advantage of that.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go back to this real quick. So look at this, guys. I mean, like, this is so great to have. Like, we need to know what's going on with us, right? And I highly encourage every single one of you guys to take this performance grade, because again, you don't know how good you're doing or how bad you're doing until you understand your KPIs. And this right here is going to understand that. And they're simple. Do you have a Facebook? Do you have an Instagram? So on and so forth. So I encourage all you to actually do this. And you're actually doing a strategy meeting with everyone as well, too, right, Norman?
Yeah, so anyone that wants to take advantage of a free, no obligation online strategy session, you're more than welcome. We can go ahead and do that for you. So if after you get the exposure grade done, strategy session's free, and then it would actually be with me personally. And then if anyone wants to take advantage of any of our services, we have just built out the website and strategy for startup, and then we have a scale up plan that's more all-encompassing. $200 off the startup cost. So we're here to serve, here to support, no contracts, month to month, family environment. Our first client's going to retire with us. So don't feel obligated to work with us. We just want to be able to put things in perspective so you can be on the road for more success in your business for 2021.
Awesome. Now, so I'm going to bring Kaylee back. Thank you guys for today. I really appreciate you guys. We want to take some audience questions. Hey, Kaylee, how are you?
Hey, doing well. That was good stuff.
Not too bad, huh? Did we get any questions for the panelists here?
Yeah, we do have a couple questions. So I'll start with Ariel. She is a photographer and videographer in Alameda, California. She's curious about what the best ways are to connect with agents and brokers who would need these video services.
It's a great question.
Yeah, well, definitely just keep coming out and network with individuals or whatnot. I mean, this is probably the best way to do it. If you, Ariel, you and I can definitely connect afterwards and talk a little bit more about meeting with people. We're having a networking event this Friday with a real estate organization here in Oakland. If you want to come out to that and meet some people, I think that's a great way of doing it. But also too, I think like just so much as us as realtors need to put out our video, I encourage you to do the same so people can see what you're doing, right? Because when it comes to you, you probably have content already on what you can do and enhance people. And that's kind of like my advice when it comes to videographers. I think us as realtors want to see your content just as much as you want to see ours. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, definitely. I'll put my calendar link for a quick 10-minute chat. So if you want to jump on my calendar and speak with me for 10 minutes about how to make that happen. I always like, and how we started with LiftOff, a couple of things that we do is we do like a website or a digital audit. So we do a digital audit, adding value, giving some perspective on things. So if you're a photographer or someone, a videographer out there trying to scale your business and grow your business, like just be upfront, open and honest. I'm a new business owner. This is who I am. I'm looking to grow my business. I would love to be able to offer my services. So, maybe, I mean, we all have bills to pay, but, if you want to be able to get to a top performing team, we tell agents all the time, you need lifestyle photography, right? So when you're posting on Instagram, lifestyle photography with your team, with yourself, with your clients is really going to be able to shine really bright on social. So why not, as a photographer, videographer, go and just reach out to a top performing real estate professional and ask them like, hey, how can I serve you? How can I potentially be able to take some amazing photos for you? I looked you up online. I didn't see a whole lot. And, we're going into this direction, and who knows, maybe we can talk and, if we're working together, there's a way for us to put together a plan to work together and to be able to come up with a suggestion to, better serve your business and the real estate professionals businesses out there.